the development of the players is what's the most important in the NFL. If you want football to be good, you're going to want to develop these players to be better every single year. And the reality is we don't have the processes in place for those players to be better year after year.
It's crazy because that statement, a lot of people took it and were like, oh, yo, he makes a lot of good points. But now after the beginning of this season, that statement has gotten more and more loud. I think about it more and more every day as every week goes by and offenses are struggling to kind of get it right. Now, I think they will find a way to right the ship. I feel like most NFL offenses will start to pass the ball a lot better than they have in the last 3 weeks. This has been historically bad first 3 weeks when it comes to passing offenses. And I think the main reason is quarterbacks aren't being developed the same that they used to. I got a list right here of quarterbacks. I got a list here of some names. Bryce Young, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith, Tua Tagovailoa, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Will Levis. I think all those quarterbacks, either all of them are starters or backups. Most of these that I named are starters. And I feel like at some point in their career, they were let down by either coaching, by ownership, and they were not developed correctly. And in this video, I'm going to go over the 3 main reasons why I believe these quarterbacks are not developing correctly, and the 3 main reasons why the passing offense in the first 3 weeks of the NFL have been bad. All right, I'm recording this the morning of week 4, so hey, maybe week 4 proves me wrong. Hopefully quarterbacks kind of start getting their stuff together. Hope you guys enjoy this. Let's get to it. Reason number 1, quarterbacks are being started way too early. I'm going to be putting up some stats on my right and left side here, illustrating how many quarterbacks have been taken in the first round of a draft in today's day and age versus the 90s. Now, there's always going to be exceptions, like in 83, I believe, or 86, 83 or 86, the year where they had Dan Marino, John Elway. 3 of the 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round were Hall of Famers. So it's like, okay, that's fine. But there's draft classes now where 3, 4, 5, 6 quarterbacks are taken in the first round. They should have nowhere near been projected to be first round picks. The main issue is that back then there was always the 1 or 2 standout candidates. And then later on, you would have other good quarterback prospects being taken in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round. When you had a quarterback being taken in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, your team was able to be a little bit more patient with starting you because they didn't have to start you right away. It's always kind of been a belief that you should get started right away. You should start your first round pick, not your quarterback, your first round pick as soon as you draft them because they're a first round pick. That's like the thing you need the most, correct? But when you drafted a quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round, you can afford to sort of have them sit behind the starter for a year or 2 and start developing correctly. But nowadays, quarterbacks are being taken, almost all of them. Like you say, okay, there's 4 good quarterback prospects. All 4 of them are going to go in the first round and probably in the first 15 to 20 picks in the draft. So there's going to be some sort of expectation to start them right away. Do y'all know who were the last 2 teams to actually draft a quarterback like early on and sit them for a long time? Patrick Mahomes from the Chiefs and Jordan Love from the Packers. I'm like, hey, that's 2 of the better quarterbacks in the NFL right now. We still can't crack the code on how to develop a good quarterback. Seems pretty obvious that if you sit the man, the chances of him being better go up. It's not a guarantee. It's never going to be a guarantee, especially in the NFL. Nothing is guaranteed. But I believe that there are a lot of quarterbacks that can benefit from just sitting out a whole year, their rookie year, maybe even more, and just learning. The Packers got a lot of crap for drafting Jordan Love in the first round. It's like, oh, you could have drafted a receiver. Where are all those critics now? I want to see them. I want to see the receipts. I want to see the receipts. I want to see the people that was saying all that stuff, that say, oh, you should have wasted the first round on another receiver or something. That's exactly why the Packers are still great and still have a good quarterback, and that's why you are not in the NFL. That's why you are not making decisions. A lot of people gave the Falcons crap for getting Michael Penix with the 8th pick. They're like, bro, you already have Kirk Cousins. Or already have a 30-something-year-old quarterback that's gonna exit their prime any year. No, yeah, I'm drafting a backup quarterback, developing him. So guess what? Once Kirk Cousins finally hangs it up, or the team decides, hey, we don't want Kirk Cousins anymore, they have a backup out there that's been sitting 1, maybe 2 years and has gained the amounts of experience needed to go out there and run an offense efficiently. Stop hating on these teams for taking a quarterback and then sitting them, because that's exactly what you're supposed to do. That's what used to be done back then. And now people are getting mad. You know why? Because we live in a world where everything is instant gratification. You drafted a quarterback, start him right now. I want to see him right now. I want to see him right right now. That is, to me, the main detriment to quarterbacks not being developed well, is the instant gratification society that we live in today. Don't believe me? Okay, let's look at the math. Let's look at the evidence. Not only are quarterbacks being started earlier than ever, they're playing less college games more than ever. When we look at some of these busts, some of these people that come out the draft and look like they don't know what they're doing, people like Justin Fields that take forever to make a read, people like Bryce Young that literally look like deer in headlights. Bryce Young only played 27 games in college. Justin Fields, who was a backup his first season, played 2 years as a starter. Man played like 20-something games before he ended up getting drafted. Y'all know something about Trey Lance? Now, I kind of give him this because I feel like this was during the pandemic year, right? So things were a little weird. Trey Lance played 26 games between high school and the NFL. I need you to let that sink in. He played 26 games between high school and the NFL. And we're surprised he couldn't be developed correctly. You know how many Brock Purdy played in college? Brock Purdy played 48 games in college. Let that sink in. And then dude went into the NFL. He didn't start right away. Kyle Shanahan was able to develop him a lot. And look at where he is right now. Reps matter. Playing, the amount of playing that you do before you get to an elite level matters. Whatever happened to you need 10,000 hours to master your craft. These people ain't even got 1,000 hours in, and they're already being put to head these organizations, because basically quarterbacks are the head. They are the figurehead of an organization. You can have the greatest team ever assembled. If your quarterback is trash, your team is trash. At least offense, right? At least your offense is trash. Look at the Jets last year. Jets have an amazing roster, except their O-line was not good. But because they had Zach Wilson in, they weren't doing much, but they weren't helping. They weren't developing Zach Wilson correctly either. So these quarterbacks are leaving college early to then being started right away into the NFL. I think the way to resolve this has already been inputted into college. That is NIL. I believe NIL will fix that issue of players leaving too early, because now they are getting paid. Now they're incentivized to stay. That was my biggest reason too. I was one of those people. I was one of the biggest proponents of like, hey, get your money, leave and get your money. And this is kind of why I hate the NCAA. I want to go on a rant right now, but I'll try to keep it to a minimum. But because the NCAA was so greedy in such a terrible place, they basically treated athletes like slaves. Athletes were running out the door. They wanted to, they would play 1 year in college and then wanting to leave. And then you get all these coaches like, oh, well, hey, you need to finish your job. We recruited you to play all 4 years and stuff like that. It's like, dude, you don't pay my bills. My mom lives in the hood. Why should I like potentially sacrifice money I can make by going out there and potentially getting injured? If I prove my worth in 1 year, I'm leaving. I believe the NIL has fixed that. And I think that, the NCAA is one of the most evil organizations on earth. And I'm happy that now they have to pay players. I'm happy that their hand is being forced. And keep in mind, this is not they want to pay players. No. They're being forced to pay players. You'll see players going from college, taking their time, maybe playing an extra year or two because they're going to get paid a lot. And then go transfer over to the NFL a little bit more developed. So I think prospects coming in the future, because it's going to take a few years for this to kind of take effect. I think prospects are going to come in more reps under their belt, a few more games under their belt. And I think that will make for better prospects and better product in the NFL. We just need a few years for that to kind of take place. Second reason why I feel like quarterbacks are not being developed correctly. This is simple. Remember what I said, instant gratification? That's the theme of this whole video, instant gratification. What happens when an owner is not happy about their record? They fire the coach. They fire the coach and don't think twice about it. They don't think of what other circumstances could have caused this team to have this record. Sometimes that isn't on the coach. Sometimes it's just bad luck. Sometimes they had a bunch of injuries. It could be so many things. But no, we're going to fire the coach. And there'll be a young quarterback there that took a whole year to learn an offense. And now, hey, everything you learn, out the trash. Even if the coach was a defensive coach and the offensive coordinator did all the offensive play calling and stuff like that and installed the offensive scheme, guess what? When a new coach comes in, they're going to want their new guys in. And when they want their guys in, guess what's going to happen? Exactly. Quarterback that doesn't have that much experience, that is still trying to learn the initial offense that was given to them. Now they have to throw all that away and learn an entirely new offense. What that does is kills your quarterback's confidence, which confidence is the ultimate thing you need to create a great quarterback. They need to be able to be confident, especially in their decision-making skills. And quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, in my opinion, have been three of like the highly touted quarterbacks coming out of college. I mean, these are 3 number 1 picks I'm mentioning, for God's sakes. 3 number 1 picks, and have struggled because after their first or second year, their coaches were fired, and now they have to learn an entirely new system while they're still trying to figure out the old system. That to me is a big mistake, and we need to be more patient with coaches. I love the way the Lions signed Dan Campbell and sort of gave him a few years to work things out. First year was not good. He barely won any games his first year. His second year was decent. It was an improvement, but a lot of people by then would have been like, okay, yeah, he's fired. If a coach is shown to be a leader of men and can build a good organization, we have to let them cook. Sometimes it takes years. Yes, some coaches are able to come in and turn around an entire franchise in less than a year, but those are the exceptions. At the end of the day, greatness is not instant. Okay, you got to work on it. It takes multiple years. Now, if the quarterback is slowly progression is progression. If you get slightly better every year, what's going to happen 5-6 years from now? You're going to be great. You're going to build a great atmosphere, great locker room culture. All that kind of gets thrown out the window whenever you fire a coach. Do you think that's a good atmosphere for a rookie quarterback or a quarterback that doesn't have that much experience yet in the NFL? Third reason, and I'm sweating because this topic got me hot. I know, so I'm wearing a hoodie, and I live in Florida, but I like hoodies. I'll sweat if it means I can wear a nice little hoodie. But reason 3 is simple. This one's not that controversial. Just they're not playing as much in the preseason as they used to. Now, this wouldn't be that big of an issue if you have players that play a lot more reps in college, then come into the NFL and then sit for a longer time. It wouldn't be that much of an issue. And that's the thing. Typically, when you're the backup, you get a lot more play time in the preseason. But because you have a lot of these players starting off the bat, they'll play 1, maybe 2 quarters at most in the preseason, and it's like they have barely any reps, and you're going to give them even less reps in the preseason, which is the time to go out there and make mistakes. That's the thing. I want my quarterback to go out there. If I have a rookie quarterback, I want them to make mistakes. I want them to not be scared of throwing picks. And in the preseason, it's the best time because they don't count. You have to use that. It doesn't count. It doesn't count for anything. The preseason does not matter. So you can use that to tell your quarterback, hey, go off. Remember, you have to calibrate your arm. You need to know, okay, my arm, I could get away with certain inaccuracies here and there in college. I can't do that in the NFL because every week I'm playing Alabama. Every week I'm playing a Georgia. That's how good these teams are. They're filled with some of the best college prospects. All of them. Every team is just stacked with talent. This isn't like college where like 1 week you play this local college that you can miss a throw by a mile, but the receiver still kind of catches it somehow. You're not going to get away with that. So quarterbacks need to calibrate their arms, and they need to be able to throw a lot of interceptions in the process of calibrating their arms. I'd rather them throw those interceptions in the preseason, and then in the regular season, they have everything figured out. Those are my main 3 reasons. Quarterbacks, they're being started way too early, barely playing in college, and then started too early. Reason number 2, coaching turnover is way too high. Y'all need to calm down with firing coaches. Some coaches do need to be fired, but y'all need to be patient. And then reason number 3, a lot of these rookie and newbie quarterbacks are not being played in the preseason enough. Okay, we need to have more of that, okay? By the way, I shaved my beard. I don't know if y'all noticed that. So hopefully y'all appreciate it or not. I'll probably just grow it back. I'm mainly a basketball channel, but I love football too, so I'm going to do football and basketball. So if you enjoy either of those topics, subscribe, leave a like if you want to see more content like this, and have a good one. Peace.